This is a short video showing the pictures that I've found for the grandchildren of Richard Bauguess of Wilkes County, North Carolina. He came to Wilkes County from Virginia about 1789 and has many descendants who still live there. Before we get to his grandchildren, I've made a list of his children. He is said to have had about 22 children, but I've identified 20 from the censuses and other records. This list isn't set in stone, and other researchers have presented slightly different lists. But this is what I've put together, and I descend from 3 of his children: James, Emmanuel, and Sarah. Okay. So we'll get to the pictures that I've found for his grandchildren, starting with his son James, who was born in 1774. This is Bryant, Bauguess, Charity, and Solomon. Bryant and Charity ended up in Kentucky, and I don't have proof that they are his children, but they were living in Kentucky just a few houses away from Elizabeth and Frances, who were daughters of James. So there's a good chance that they are his children as well, and the census indicates that James did have children their age. And then Solomon, he was born in 1832 and was a child of James's second wife. He moved to Ashe County. He fought in the Civil War for the Union in the 3rd North Carolina Mounted Infantry, and they conducted raids in the western part of North Carolina. Charity was born in 1818 and Bryant 1817. So those are 3 of the children of James. Moving on to Robert. We first have right here this lady on the side here, Fanny or Frances. She was born in 1818. She died in 1891, and she married Charles Harris in 1839. And then in this picture, she's shown with her daughter Almeda here, with her husband Lafayette McBride and their children. And they lived on Green Street Mountain in that area near Trap Hill in Wilkes County. Next we have Robert Jackson. He was born in 1822, and he stayed in Wilkes County as well. Next we'll move to a different son of Richard, Bryant, who was at least I've listed him as the 5th child of Richard. And Bryant had a son also named Bryant Allen, born 1812 in Tennessee. So Bryant, son of Richard, moved to Tennessee about 1807, 1808, and then Bryant Allen was born there. And he eventually moved to northwest Louisiana near Arkansas. Next, Jane. Jane married Joseph Spicer and had several children, including Hardin Spicer, born in 1806. And he stayed in Wilkes County and died in 1897. And this picture shows Nancy. This is Nancy. It's not very clear, but it's the best I could get. She was born in 1815 and married Ralph Holbrook. And that's Ralph Holbrook. And this is their children. They lived in Trap Hill, and again stayed in Wilkes County. 7th child was Henry, and he had a son named Bryant. Bryant B. Bauguess, born in 1823. 1823. And these are both pictures of him. Obviously, this seems to be when he was younger, and then the picture on the right is when he was older. He was born in Wilkes County, eventually moved to Indiana, and eventually on west to Washington State. Next, we have the children of Emmanuel Bauguess. And these are actually, both of these pictures are his son, Richard. So this Richard shown here, and of course here, was a grandson of the first Richard Bauguess. He was born in 1822. The picture here on the right is with him and his wife, Polly Joines. And then the picture on the left is a picture with him and his daughter and her family. He moved to Ashe County, fought in the Civil War for the Union, and there's a story that he wasn't heard from for years during the Civil War. But after the war ended, the family just thought he had died. But somehow, eventually, he just showed up at his sister's house in Ashe County, and everybody was surprised to find that he was alive. Next, we'll go to Sarah. And both of these pictures are Sarah. Well, no, it's not. This is Sarah, daughter of Richard, and this is Sarah's daughter, Lucinda Brooks. Sarah had married Zachariah Brooks, and they had a daughter, Lucinda Brooks. And this is Lucinda Brooks, born 1833, died 1899, with her husband Hardin Brooks, or Hardin Pruitt, excuse me. And actually, these are my great-great-great-grandparents. And this looks like the same artist rendering of Lucinda, but this time, instead of being with her husband, she's with another lady. And I wonder if maybe, could this be Sarah? Could this be her mother that she's pictured with here? I don't believe any of these three images of Hardin, Lucinda, and possibly Sarah were done at the same time, but at some point an artist, photographer, combined the pictures and made them into portraits of two people. So you can't really go by the age that the person is necessarily. But in any case, this lady does look older. And who else would it be is what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking there's a good chance this may be Richard's daughter, Sarah. Again, Lucinda and Hardin, they lived in Wilkes County. Next, we have Richard's son, Elijah. And Elijah had a son named John Calhoun Bauguess. He was born in 1831, and he died sometime after 1909. He was born in Cabarrus County near Concord in North Carolina, but eventually moved to Kentucky and then on to California. He was a shoemaker, as was his father Elijah. So they were both shoemakers in the 1800s. And moving on, next we have Richard Jr. He had a son named William Noah Bauguess, born in 1834. And this is a picture of him with his son and his son's family. And he lived in Wilkes County. Finally, we get to daughter Susan. This is a picture of Susan. This picture was found by Jerry Gentry, who shared it with me. So this is Susan, born 1815. And over here, also, this picture was also from Jerry Gentry. This is Susan's daughter, Judah Ann Wright. Susan had married Richard Wright, and they lived near Elkin. And this is their daughter, Judah Wright, with her husband. So what we have here are 17 pictures representing 14 of Richard's grandchildren, and then this one more picture of Richard's daughter, Susan, and possibly the one above of his daughter, Sarah. If you know of any other pictures or someone who has pictures or other information on this family, I'd like to hear from you. I've done a lot of research on the Bauguess family, and I'd be glad to share what I have. My website is at webjmd.com, and my email is jason@webjmd.com if you need to get in touch with me. Thank you.